Hello, welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube with myself, Mark Carlaw, and Riley Finch, who's back from his holiday. Riley, before we go into the excitement of a new signing, how was your holiday? Let's be honest, that's all we want to know about. Is how you
Yeah,
got on.
well, it was great, mate. I mean, at the time, not very sunny in England, so good to go out there.
Was it not? What? It's been boiling here. I mean, when did you get back?
I got back on the 19th, I think. So
Right.
at the time, it was like thunder and lightning.
Right,
But my
okay.
flight got cancelled in the morning from Wizz
Right.
Air. So
Well, you're
I
back.
was a
I
bit
mean, there's not many
skeptical.
flights or even making it back, so you've done all right there.
No, I mean, yeah, we thought we'd be stranded in Malaga, which of course is worst place to get stranded in. But it's good to
Exactly,
be
yeah.
back, talking West Ham on the West Ham way. Good to get back.
Excellent, mate. That's good to hear it. So, right, Nayef Aguerd, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, has signed £30 million deal, I believe. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, for me, very exciting. Nice to get a signing over the line and, get the summer rolling, in terms of recruitment.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's really good to get something this early doors as well. Price tag does maybe worry me a little bit because it sort of insinuates that we're not going to be going after like a big striker this summer if we're spending like 25-30 million on a centre back, possibly. But the player himself, he really excites me.
Yeah.
It's a very, very bold comparison, but looking at some of his stat graphs, he's quite similar to Van Dijk in the way he plays. Obviously, that's a very bold comparison, and it is in the French league, but he's got like really good stature, ball playing defender, 94% pass accuracy last season, which I think is amazing. And we've been crying out for a ball playing centre back in a long time. And just looking at his interview of Carlton Cole on the West Ham page,
Yeah.
he seems like he's got a really good team spirit about him. And obviously, that's something that Moyes is very skeptical about.
And do you know what? Like that's one thing I really admire about David Moyes. I think that's something that it's quite clear that he's very keen on the personality as well. The fact that this really feels like a proper Moyes signing. I believe from what X has told us on Patreon was that he was top of the list in terms of who he wanted to bring in terms of a defender. So it's great to get it over the line. But as you say, I think his personality comes through that he's a really decent person. I think he would integrate well with the team. And Moyes has even commented on that his personality was what sold him as well, I think, quite clearly. So I think it's a great signing for us. I mean, like you say, it's a hefty price tag, but let's be honest. I mean, I think, if you're going to want, if we want to get the sort of standard of players that we need to be pushing on, we're going to have to be spending a lot of money. I know you mentioned about the striker there. I'm not so sure on that. I still think there's a hefty budget behind this. I'm not convinced that just because we've spent a bit of money on a defender that we won't do the same for a striker. But having said that, with West Ham, I think we're still looking at a lot of targets at the moment. X has given us a bit of an update on Patreon a few times about a few people that we're in for. I think Dennis of Watford looking quite likely, in terms of who we're interested in. So that'd be interesting. But in terms of Aguerd, though, or Aguerd, should I say, 26 years old as well. Very good age. And I'm guessing really he's going to be seen as the new partner, I would say, for Zuma. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, Zuma's problem is he's not a ball-playing centre-back, and obviously Ogbonna is, and he's been brilliant. But when you think about the ages of Ogbonna and Dawson, we're talking maybe like 33 and 32, 31. We've now gone to 26 and 27. Is Zuma now? Is he still 26?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think he's 27.
Yeah. So that's got our youth down on the centre-backs. Obviously, we've got quite an ageing squad. So I can imagine, I don't think he'll go straight into the squad because I think Moyes loves to bleed new signings in. I don't think he ever really likes to chuck them straight in there. But, if he's willing to spend £30 million on a centre-back, then I imagine he's going to be a starter. And I imagine he's going to be there to replace Ogbonna.
And he was a key player for Rennes as well, and also international player, for Morocco. So it's not as if he's going to be out of his depth, you'd imagine. You can imagine he probably could slip straight into the squad without too much of a problem. You'd hope so anyway. And as you say, I do kind of look at him and think, I mean, he will be one of our main centre-backs. That's my gut feeling. I think that, as you say, going forward, even I've noticed on the West Ham official page today, they did a video of Ogbonna meeting him. I don't know if you've seen that. And he said to him, like, "Oh, you're the future." Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, for me, it's a bit of a relief. Newcastle coming in the 11th hour was quite a concern. Obviously, with the money they've got, I think they did put an offer to the player. So it's good that we've managed to see that off. I think that says quite a lot about the club at the moment.
Well, we did speak about this, didn't we? We were talking about transfers, that our main rivals we thought would be Newcastle in the way that they would, they're kind of in a similar position to us at the moment where they want to push for European football, but unfortunately they have more assets than we do currently. So it was no surprise to me to see us linked with a lot of, Newcastle linked with a lot of players that we're interested in.
It's every player, isn't it? I did a tweet about it the other day. It's almost like every single target. It's West Ham and Newcastle are interested. And X did say this a while ago, obviously, and it was kind of common knowledge realistically that Newcastle are going to be a thorn in our side. So I think it's pleasing to see that the first deal that we've got over the line, Newcastle came in, offered a lot more money. I'm guessing. I don't know what the offer was, but let's be honest, it probably was more money. And the fact we've fended that off and dealt with it and got the player, I think it just says a lot about the club at the moment. And it also says a lot about the player that obviously he's not going for money. He's come here for wanting to be successful and comes to the right club for him. So I think all round it's good news today. It's a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we say, I know people are moaning as we do as West Ham fans, but at the end of the day, we're all over halfway through June, and we've got our first big signing through the doors. And we've still got 2 months left in the transfer window. So, it is a statement signing. It's a statement signing to say to Newcastle, we can get players over you. It's also a statement signing to say we've been business this transfer window because we're getting players in early, which is very uncharacteristic for us.
It is. And I think with the summer ahead, in terms of the recruitment that's needed, we needed to make this sort of signing early. I think it settles nerves a little bit. I mean, we've just come off the back of a really poor January window where I think a lot of us are quite scarred from and feel a bit very let down and feel like we didn't push on what we should have done. So it's been a while, isn't it, since we've had a new face at West Ham. And I just think it's an all-round lift for everybody at the club. And the fact that this isn't a player that, nobody was after. This is a player that, is highly regarded and the big clubs were looking at. So I think it's a bit of a statement as well from the club, I think, for the season ahead.
Yeah, and it's a Moyes player. We look at Vlasic leaving possibly, Ben Rama leaving possibly, and they're not really Moyes players. It's great that Moyes is getting in a player that he actually wants, and it's not going to be like a Salthouse buy or a Sullivan buy. It's good to see us getting in personnel that he actually wants to play.
Yeah, and I think as well, and I totally agree that's the pleasing bit for me, that this is clearly a Moyes signing. He was top of the list as far as I'm concerned with in terms of what I believe anyway, and who he wanted as a defender. So the fact the club have got it done, and as you say, early in the window, it's not come cheap. We've had to spend some money, which again shows a bit of ambition that we want to see. But there's a lot more to be done. I mean, we've obviously got another show coming up as well in this channel. Me and yourself, Riley, talking about who we've been linked with and what's in the press and our paper talk, which we'll go on to a bit later. But I mean, for me, this is just a real big tick for me today. I feel like a real sign of relief, and it gives a bit of excitement, a bit of encouragement. The window ahead of who we could be bringing in, and feel like we might be, splashing a bit of money this summer.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I say, sometimes I feel like West Ham don't have their priorities in order. So, like we talked about last summer, signing Vlasic for 30 million when we needed a striker, that's not getting your priorities in order. But this summer, it seems like Moyes has identified that we need a centre-back, a left-back, a midfielder and a striker.
Yeah,
and it's good that he's got his first kind of tick on the box, and now we need the other three players, which you've got a long time to sort of, get through the door. So, like you say, it's a massive statement, and it's great that we fended off Newcastle in doing so, because it shows that, we do have that pull. It's not all about money. And like you say, it's even more encouraging that the last minute Newcastle were going through and Aguerd said, no, I want to join West Ham. And, he gave a really, really good account of himself in that interview. Like we said, he seems like he's got a really good team spirit and morale that he's going to bring in. And that's something we don't want to disturb at West Ham. So, over the moon with this one. Yeah,
me too. Chuffed, absolutely chuffed. So, well, hopefully, mate, we'll have some more videos coming soon. I mean, we've got obviously Areola. That one you'd expect is going to be possibly one of the big next ones that will get done. There's been a lot of talk. They're just trying to negotiate the final stages of that in terms of wages and things like that. So, I know X has been sort of alluding to the fact that that's getting quite close.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope that gets over the line. I am refreshing Patreon every minute just to see, because I'd love him to come, and for 8 million, it just seems like such a good buy for us. He's already, like we say, squad morale. He's already settled in the squad. We know what we're going to get from him.
Yeah,
I don't know how many wages exactly he's being asked for, but obviously we don't overpay for a player. But I feel like you just give him what he wants, because he's going to be our goalkeeper for the next 5-6 years. If we can get him out through the line.
I think what makes it difficult with him, from my understanding, is that because he's coming from PSG, and obviously PSG notoriously spend a lot of money on players and pay high wages. I think that's the issue, is the fact that he's on a very big wage. It's never easy to get, an agent to pull a deal down. You know what I mean? So effectively, they're obviously not going to be paying. I think what he was paid at PSG, which I believe was in the 120 grand a week mark. The club just aren't going to pay him that. I mean, he's effectively be the highest paid player at the club. I don't think they'll do it. So it's going to have to come down slightly, but I think that's where the wrangling is. But you'd like to think that the fact that he, as you say, he's been at the club, the players know him, the manager knows him, the fans like him. You'd think he'd be keen to come back, and I'm sure they can get a deal arranged, because that's one we need to get sorted as well. It'd be nice to get a goalkeeper now that we know then who's going to be our goalkeeper, say, for the next sort of 4 to 5 years, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it seems like a no-brainer for us. Failing that, maybe like Nick Pope, but the goalkeeper market's not great at the moment. So I think, 8 million for a player who's already played for us, played well for us, Premier League experience. If we can get the wages down, which I do think we will sign him eventually. You know, even when Newcastle came for Aguerd, I thought he'd be a West Ham player. So I do back us to actually get it over the line. But, you know, we are very particular and meticulous about actually signing players, which is both a good and a bad thing.
It is. I think, you know, for the sort of childlike part of me, and for all of us, we all want it to happen quickly, don't we? We all want it to happen. We all want to see them in the shirt. But at the same time, I do like the fact we do take up our time a little bit. We want to get the right players in. We don't just. I mean, we've been guilty of it over the years, West Ham, buying players that just to fill a void. You know, just get a position. Think, we need a striker, get someone in. We need a midfielder, get anyone in. Whereas I think now we take our time, and I think that obviously comes from David Moyes. He has that particular sort of player he wants. Hence what we were saying earlier, you know, he's very keen on the personality of the players as well. So, yeah, as you say, all round, I think it's a good day for West Ham really today.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, like you alluded to Moyes, he doesn't panic buy, which sometimes is a bad thing because he's so meticulous about who he gets through the door. But you can't name me a bad David Moyes signing. So, you know,
you can't. Even the ones that aren't quite working, you'd say, like the Vlasic, you know, he's not a bad player. You know, I just think he hasn't really been given much of a chance. He isn't quite working for one reason or another. But ultimately, he's still not a bad player. I've not seen Moyes bring anyone in that generally I thought he's been really poor for us, especially this second stint at the club, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm alluding to in that, you know, it's going to take time for Moyes to get the players that he wants. But, you know, give him that time. I see so many, you know, people on Twitter sort of getting annoyed even that it wasn't announced early today. And it's like, you know, calm down a little bit. It takes time. It takes time. You know, there's a lot of politics in football as well about like when you can record certain things or when you want to put this out, put that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if they've got a promotional video on Sunday, they're not going to chuck it out on Sunday. They're going to wait till Monday. So, you know, we just give him Moyes time, and I definitely back him. I think I have faith in him that he's going to get this transfer window right. And we've alluded to it before. It's a massive transfer window for us, and this is a great step forward.
It is. It's very, very good. And well, hopefully, mate, we've got some more videos coming soon. And let's hope that within the next sort of weeks or, you know, our coming weeks, we're going to have some decent, you know, confirmations of players arriving at the club. So it's, exciting times.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see that the little eyes from X on Patreon. We need more.
I know. I always look forward to that. Once that happens, and you know we're in a good place.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll speak to you soon. Cheers.